All right, so now let's talk about reflecting a figure. Okay, so we talked about reflecting points, which is just reflecting them over whatever line we talked about. A figure is the same thing, you just have 3 points you need to work with instead of just 1. So our task here is to graph the image of triangle ABC when it's reflected over the y-axis. And then we need to use arrow notation to describe what happened. Okay, so the y-axis means we're translating over this line here. Okay, so don't think of the triangle as a triangle right now. Think of it as 3 individual points that you need to move. So point A is 1 to the left, and so we're going to move it over 1 to the right of the y-axis, and that's going to be A prime. Point B is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left of the y-axis, so it's going to move over 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right of the y-axis. I'm going to try B. And then C is 1, 2 to the left, so I'm going to move it 2 to the right. So here's my image, and it's shown with the primes. And then for arrow notation, remember, all I have to do is say that put the original coordinates, so A is -1, 4, B is -4, 2, C is at -2, 1, and all it means is you just put an arrow. That's what arrow notation is, that it becomes, and then you put the coordinates of the new figure. A prime is at 1, 4, B prime is at 4, 2, and C prime is at 2, 1. That's arrow notation. So I'm going to have you pause the video and do the same thing, only you are going to graph. Let me write it down. All right, so this time you're going to graph its image when it's reflected over the x-axis. And again, you're going to use arrow notation to describe. So you can use the same graph paper. I'm going to just use a different color to make it easier for me to see. So the purple is my one for the y-axis, and I use pink for the x-axis. Go ahead and pause the video and graph your image, and then restart to check your work once you have your arrow notation done. All right, so my x-axis is here, and so C is 1 above, so I'm going to go 1 below for C prime. A is 4 above, so I'm going to go 4 below for A prime. B is 2 above, so I'm going to go 2 below for B prime, and then I'm going to connect my points because I need to actually make it a triangle. I can't just have points sitting there. And then for my arrow notation, I can copy this first part here because that's the same original triangle. So A is at -1, 4, B is at -4, 2, C is at -2, 1, and it becomes, and now I need to put in my new primes, and I'm going to go in order still of A, B, and C. So A prime is at -4, -1, right on the marker here. B prime is at -4, -2. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh my goodness. Did you catch that? Should have been -1, -4. And then C prime is at -2, -1. And so that is my arrow notation for this figure's reflection.